I'd like to show you an example of how you might analyze a passage in 1984. So I'm going to show you how I would analyze the opening of chapter 1. And so I have, to make it easier, I've cut and pasted this section onto a piece of paper so that I can show you. But you can do this within your book as well. And I'm going to take a highlighter so that I'm ready. It was a bright, cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13. So I'm just going to mark the things that I find that stand out to me. Winston Smith, his chin nuzzled into his breast in an effort to escape the vile wind, slipped quickly through the glass doors of Victory Mansions, though not quickly enough to prevent a swirl of gritty dust from entering along with him. The hallway smelt of boiled cabbages and old rag mats. Ugh. Smelt. I'm just gonna get that. At one end of it, a colored poster too large for indoor display had been tacked to the wall. It depicted simply an enormous face, more than a meter wide. The face of a man of about 45 with a heavy black mustache and ruggedly handsome features. Winston made for the stairs. It was no use trying the lift. Even at the best of times, it was seldom working, and at present the electric current was cut off. So there's no electricity. It was part of the economy drive in preparation for Hate Week. The flat was 7 flights up, and Winston, who was 39 and had a varicose ulcer above his right ankle, went slowly, resting several times on the way. On each landing, opposite the lift shaft, the poster with the enormous face gazed from the wall. It was one of those pictures which are so contrived that the eyes follow you about when you move. Big Brother is watching you, the caption beneath it ran. Okay. So there's a lot that stood out to me here. I'm going to switch to just normal writing, and I'm going to start taking some notes here now. And you could do this on a separate piece of paper, but I want to think about some of the categories here, like setting, and I'm interested in the fact that this place is called, Victory Mansions, for instance. And I want to think about that. Why is it called Victory Mansions? Now, in order to actually show you how you're going to write out your notes, I want to show you a technique for organizing how you set your notes out. All right, so in order to organize well, I've opened up this other document, and you can do this on your computer or on a separate piece of paper, but I'm going to write the facts that I notice over here, and I'm going to write the ideas that I attach to those facts on the other side, okay? So, let me shrink the font. So I'm going to write Victory Mansions, and it's just automatically underlining it. And for me, my idea about that is that it sounds fancy, right? Just format this a little bit better. Okay, so my idea about the name Victory Mansions is that it sounds fancy. And then what I notice here is that it's smelly, it's dirty, and there's no electricity. Okay, so those are all facts. No electricity. Over here, the electric current was cut off during daylight hours, it says. Smells like cabbage and old rags. And then the ideas I'm going to pull are that it's not a very nice place to live. Okay? So my formatting is getting a little bit messed up, but I wanted you to just see the main concept here is that um, you're going to put your facts on one side of the paper. You're going to put your ideas on the other side of the paper. Um, and this will help you generate a lot of ideas. And it'll also help you when you're writing, you can show where your ideas came from in the story. Okay. And then right here, we can start comparing the things that we come up with. So, what do you make of the fact that in this opening scene, we learned that the place is called Victory Mansions, which sounds fancy, but at the same time, we find out that the electricity's cut off, which means that the lift or the elevator doesn't work. We know that it smells bad. We know that there's gritty dust that enters in. So it's not a very nice place to live. So already we see there's a contradiction between the words of something and between the reality, right? Which we're going to find out is a big theme in the story. So in other words, when Orwell chose to call this place Victory Mansions, that was a detail that he specifically chose to begin showing us the contradictions between words and reality. Now we could keep going. I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix my formatting a bit. We could say, what about his name? What about the clocks striking 13? What do you think about that? What are some ideas there? Well, for me, I immediately think something is weird, right? This is not our world, right? This is a different place. We know that from the very first line of the story. What about his name being Winston Smith? What is that all about? To me, it sounds like one of the most, like, the plainest white person's name, you know? My name is Winston Smith. So it's a plain sounding name. We'll just say that. We also might notice from some of the words here that, if you didn't realize it, that George Orwell is British because he uses words like flat instead of apartment, and he uses words such as lift instead of elevator, right? But so all of these things stand out, and we haven't even gotten to the other things that I highlighted yet. But right now we're generating ideas, and so this is what I want you to do. I want you to move through your passage, select the things that you think are important as you go, then create a list of facts and ideas. What does the text say? Those are your facts. And what are your ideas about those facts? Those are your ideas. Okay, and you can do this on a word sheet or you can do it just writing by hand, whatever you prefer.